Your life has enormous value. Right now, as you sit here listening, you possess something that no one else on this planet has. Your unique combination of gifts, talents, and potential. There's greatness inside you waiting to be released. You were born with purpose already inside you. Like a seed contains everything needed to become a mighty tree. You arrived in this world equipped with everything required to fulfill your destiny. Your purpose isn't something you need to create. Some of you have felt that nagging sense that you were made for more. That restlessness in your spirit isn't random. It's the call of your purpose trying to get your attention. That dissatisfaction with the ordinary is the extraordinary in you struggling to break free. Today marks a turning point. This moment can become the line that divides your life into before and after. Before you recognize your value and after you began living with intention. Before you settled for existence and after you embrace significance. The world's greatest tragedy isn't death. It's living without purpose. It's climbing ladders leaned against the wrong walls. It's spending decades building someone else's dream while yours remains buried. Look at your hands. They contain fingerprints unlike any other person who has ever lived or will ever live. That uniqueness extends beyond your skin. It reaches into your very soul. You are a one-time event in history. Many people reach the end of their lives and realize too late that they never became who they were meant to be. They allow circumstances, other people's expectations, or their own fears to define their boundaries. Don't let that be your story. Your purpose isn't just about you. It's about your contribution. The world needs what only you can give. Someone is waiting for you to become who you were created to be. So today, we'll uncover the principles that will transform potential into performance. We'll challenge the limitations that have kept your dreams at a distance. We'll replace confusion with clarity. The journey won't be easy. Purpose requires courage. It demands persistence. It calls for sacrifice. But living without purpose costs. Your future is literally being shaped by the decisions you make today. Each choice either moves you toward your purpose or away from it. There are no neutral moments. Are you ready to stop making excuses and start making progress? Are you willing to trade comfort for fulfillment? Are you prepared to leave the crowd to find your calling? Your greatest life is waiting. Let's begin. You are not an accident, but a deliberate creation. Before you took your first breath, you were designed with intention and purpose. Your life isn't random. It's the result of a master plan. This understanding forms the foundation of all achievement and satisfaction. Listen to his truths. Nothing in nature exists without purpose. The eagle wasn't made to swim, and the fish wasn't made to fly. Each creation has specific features that perfectly match its function. You are no different. Your unique blend of abilities, passions, and personality traits points directly to your reason for being here. The seed principle reveals this truth perfectly. Every seed contains within it everything necessary to fulfill its purpose. An apple seed doesn't need outside help to know how to become an apple tree. The DNA for its full expression already exists inside. Similarly, the potential for your greatest contribution already exists within you. Your purpose isn't something external you need to chase. It's internal, waiting to be nurtured and expressed. Your talents are signposts pointing toward your purpose. What comes naturally to you? What activities cause you to lose track of time? These aren't coincidences, they're clues. You're clues. Your creator of what you're meant to accomplish. Many people live as copies instead of originals. They spend their energy trying to be what others want rather than developing their authentic design. This tragedy creates a world full of imitations when what humanity desperately needs is your original contribution. It's the difference between existence and significance lies in this understanding. Existence is biological breathing, eating, sleeping. Significance comes from fulfilling the reason you were created. One leads to survival. The other leads to impact. Your value isn't determined by your possessions, position, or popularity. These external measures fluctuate and fade. Your true worth comes from your original design and purpose. This value can't be increased or decreased by circumstances. It's inherent and unchangeable. Your limitations serve your purpose. What you perceive as weaknesses often direct you toward your strengths. They prevent you from pursuing paths that would distract you from your main assignment. Sometimes you know in one area creates space for your yes in another. And see, according to your design, requires courage. Society rewards conformity and punishes differentiation. The pressure to fit in feels overwhelming. But remember, you weren't made to fit in, you were made to. Your original design includes freedom of choice. You can ignore your purpose or embrace it. You can bury your talents or multiply them. This freedom carries enormous responsibility. No one else can fulfill your purpose for you, and if you don't fulfill it, it remains unfulfilled forever. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs you, the authentic, purpose-driven you. When you align your daily life with your original design, you experience what few people ever doubt call the profound satisfaction of being exactly who you were created to be, doing exactly what you were created to do. The greatest tragedy in life isn't death, but the unused potential that dies within person. Cemeteries are filled with books never written, businesses never started, cures never discovered, and relationships never built. These graves hold treasures that were buried before they could bless the world. What makes this reality so heartbreaking is that most people die without ever knowing how great they could have been. They live their entire lives with extraordinary capabilities locked inside them, never suspecting the power they possess. They settle for a fraction of their capacity, believing the lie that their current reality represents their full potential. They consider what happens when a mighty eagle is raised among chickens. Despite having wings designed to soar above mountains, it pecks the ground, never looking up because it has adopted the mindset of its environment. Countless human beings suffer the same fate. Born with the capacity for greatness, but conditioned to accept mediocrity. Why do so many people live below their capabilities? Several forces work against the fulfillment of potential. First, there's the powerful pull of the familiar. Human beings naturally resist change even when it leads to improvement. We prefer the discomfort we know to the discomfort we don't know. This tendency keeps potential trapped in the prison of the predictable. Second, the pressure of conformity crushes creativity and original thought. From early childhood, most people are taught to follow rather than lead, to repeat rather than create, to fit in rather than stand out. The social reward for sameness and the social punishment for difference condition many need to suppress their unique gifts. Third, the poison of comparison steals motivation and satisfaction. When you measure your beginning against someone else's middle, you feel inadequate. When you compare your weaknesses to others' strengths, this comparison game kills the very drive needed to develop your own distinct potential. Fear stands as the greatest barrier between people and their achievements. Fear of failure keeps many from starting. Fear of criticism silences voices that should be heard. Fear of success sabotages progress just when breakthroughs seem imminent. Fear of rejection prevents meaningful connections. These fears aren't just emotions. They become prison walls that confine potential. Limited thinking creates limited lives. The boundaries people place on their potential exist first in their minds before manifesting in their circumstances. I'm not good enough. And that's impossible becomes self-fulfilling prophecy. What makes these mental limitations so dangerous is that they're invisible. People don't realize they're making decisions based on artificial constraints they've accepted as truth. The cost of unfulfilled potential extends beyond the individual. Every community suffers when its members live below their capabilities. Families miss out on financial provision and emotional leadership. Organizations lose innovation and productivity. Nations forfeit progress and solutions to pressing problems. Humanity itself is diminished when even one person buries their gifts. The clock of life doesn't stop while potential remains dormant. Time passes whether you're developing your capabilities or ignoring them. The question isn't whether you have greatness within you. The question is whether you'll access it before your opportunity. Breaking free from limited thinking requires conscious effort. You must challenge assumptions about what's possible. You must question beliefs about your limitations. You must examine whether your current path truly reflects your capacity. This mental liberation doesn't happen automatically. It demands deliberate action. Your potential isn't meant to remain potential forever. Just as a seed must crack open to become a tree, your comfort zone must break for your capabilities to emerge. The pain of growth always precedes the pleasure of achievement. So the temporary discomfort of stretching beyond your limits leads to the permanent satisfaction of becoming who you were meant to be. Purpose isn't something you create. It's something you discover, like a treasure buried in a field. Your purpose already exists, waiting for you to uncover it. This discovery process begins by understanding the relationship between passion and purpose. Your passions are emotional signposts pointing toward your purpose. What makes you come alive? What causes righteous anger to rise within you? What problems do you find yourself constantly thinking about? Passionate responses aren't random. They're purposeful indicators. When you feel deeply about something, pay attention. Your Creator planted those feelings as clues to your calling. Interestingly, your greatest problems often reveal your assignment. The challenges that have shaped your life prepare you for your purpose. The person who overcame poverty becomes passionate about economic empowerment. The one who struggled with illness develops compassion for the suffering. Your wounds, when healed, become your credentials. Your tests become your testimony. Your mess becomes your message. This principle explains why people who have faced significant hardship often make the greatest difference. Their difficulties weren't punishment. They were preparation. Every tear, every disappointment, every setback was developing something essential for their purpose. Nothing is wasted when you discover how your struggles qualify you to help others facing similar challenges. Several key questions can help uncover your true calling. First, what needs do you consistently notice that others overlook? Your purpose often lies in the gap between what is and what could be. Second, what would you do without pay if all your financial needs were met? This reveals work that flows from passion rather than obligation. Third, what compliments do you regularly receive? Others often recognize your purpose before you do. Your purpose exists at the intersection of talent, passion, and opportunity. Your talents represent what you can do. Your passion represents what you love to do. Opportunity represents where you can apply your talented passion to meet real needs. When these three elements align, purpose becomes clear. You experience that unmistakable sense of this is what I was made for. Purpose always extends beyond yourself. If your goals only benefit you, they're too small. Genuine purpose improves other people's lives. It solves problems. It meets needs. It creates value. The size of your purpose correlates directly with the number of people it serves. Small thinking focuses on personal gain. Big thinking focuses on others' transformation. Finding your purpose requires honesty about your motives. Are you driven by applause or by impact? By recognition or by results? Purpose-driven people care more about significance than success, more about contribution than credit. Understand that meaningful achievement comes from serving, not from being served. Purpose also demands clarity about your values. What principles will you never compromise? What matters most to you? Your values act as guardrails, keeping your purpose on track when temptations arise. Without clear values, even well-intentioned people can drift from their original purpose in pursuit of profit, pleasure, or praise. Many people miss their purpose because they're waiting for some mystical moment of revelation. They expect a voice from heaven or writing in the sky. But purpose typically emerges through a process of exploring, experimenting, and eliminating. Try different things. Pay attention to what energizes rather than drains you. Notice where you excel rather than merely survive. Follow the breadcrumbs of effectiveness and fulfillment. Don't expect your purpose to arrive fully formed. It often begins as a small seed of interest that grows with tension and action. The writer starts with a journal entry, not a bestseller. The entrepreneur starts with a single customer, not a corporation. The activist starts with one community meeting, not a global movement. Small beginnings don't indicate small purposes. They represent the natural growth process. Finding your purpose isn't a luxury. It's a necessity for living fully. Without purpose, decisions become arbitrary. Resources get wasted. Potential remains dormant. Days blend together without distinction. But with purpose, ordinary moments gain extraordinary meaning. Work becomes worship. Obstacles become opportunities. Setbacks become setups for comebacks. Life transforms from a random series of events into a deliberate journey toward a worthy destination. Your purpose exists. It's been waiting for you. Today could be the day you finally embrace it. Vision without action remains a fantasy. Having discovered your purpose, you must now transform it from possibility into reality. This journey begins with creating a clear picture of your destination. Your mind responds to images more powerfully than to words. When you can see your future vividly in your imagination, you activate forces that move you toward that reality. Elite athletes use this principle when they mentally rehearse perfect performance before competition. They're programming their subconscious to recognize and reproduce success patterns. Apply this same technique to your purpose. You spend time daily visualizing yourself living your purpose. See the environment, hear the conversations, feel the satisfaction. Make this mental movie as detailed as possible. Your brain doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual ones. Both create neural pathways that shape your behavior. When you consistently visualize your purpose fulfilled, you're essentially creating a blueprint that your life will follow. The power of written goals cannot be overstated. Something extraordinary happens when you transfer your vision from thought to paper. Studies show that people who write down their goals achieve significantly more than those with identical goals kept only in mind. Writing creates commitment. It clarifies thinking. It establishes accountability. Don't just write what you wanted to achieve. Write why it matters. Purpose-driven goals connected to deep values generate lasting motivation. When obstacles arise, and they will, your why provides the emotional fuel to persist. Goals without purpose become obligations. Goals with purpose become obsessions. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Vague intentions produce vague results. Someday I'll help people lacks the clarity needed for achievement. By December, I will launch a mentoring program serving 15 at-risk youth. Creates focus and urgency. Break your vision into manageable milestones. The gap between your current reality and your ultimate purpose can seem overwhelming. By establishing intermediate targets, you create momentum through regular victories. Each milestone achieved builds confidence for the next challenge. This approach transforms an intimidating mountain into a series of conquerable hills. Developing daily disciplines determines your destiny. Your life moves in the direction of your most consistent actions. These small regular behaviors might seem insignificant in isolation, but their cumulative effect shapes your future. A writer who produces one-page daily completes a book in a year. The saver who invests a small amount weekly builds wealth over time. The leader who makes one meaningful connection daily creates a powerful network annually. Identify the core disciplines that align with your purpose. What daily actions, if consistently performed, would inevitably lead to your vision's fulfillment? Design your environment to support these disciplines. Remove distractions, create reminders. Establish accountability. Your willpower is limited. Use it to build systems that make right actions easier than wrong ones. The company you keep powerfully influences your progress. Surrounding yourself with purpose-driven people accelerates your growth. Their standards become your standards. Their questions challenge your thinking. Your achievements expand your sense of possibility. Consciously cultivate relationships with those who are committed to significance over mere success, who value growth over comfort, who choose purpose over popularity. Equally important is distancing yourself from dream drainers. People who consistently discourage, criticize, or undermine your vision. You can't completely avoid negative individuals, but you can limit their access to your time and emotional energy. Your purpose is too important to be sabotaged by those who lack the courage. Embracing necessary sacrifices defines the purpose-driven life. Everything valuable requires giving up something else. The entrepreneur sacrifices security. The artist sacrifices approval. The athlete sacrifices determine in advance what you're willing to surrender for your vision. Will you trade leisure for learning? Popularity for principles? Short-term pleasure for long-term fulfillment? Your greatest sacrifice may be your attachment to immediate results. Purpose unfolds over time. The farmer doesn't plant seeds and harvest crops the same day. Similarly, your most meaningful contributions may take years to fully manifest. This delayed gratification test commitment. Many abandon their purpose just before breakthrough because they can't endure the gap between effort and outcome. Develop a bias toward action. Perfectionism paralyzes progress. The perfect plan executed poorly achieves more than the perfect plan never implemented. Begin with what you have, start where you are. Use what's available. The resources you need often appear after you start moving, not before. Remember that your purpose exists outside your comfort zone. Growth happens at the boundary of the familiar and the unknown. Each step beyond your current capabilities expands your capacity. The temporary discomfort of stretching leads to the permanent satisfaction of becoming. Your vision isn't just a destination. It's a creative force. It pulls you forward when motivation wanes. It provides clarity when decisions arise. It restores focus when distractions emerge. Most importantly, your vision connects daily tasks to eternal impact, transforming ordinary moments into stepping stones toward extraordinary significance. Resistance isn't just inevitable on the path to purpose. It's actually confirmation you're moving in the right direction. This counterintuitive truth transforms how you view obstacles. When challenges arise, they don't signal that you've chosen the wrong path, but rather that you've chosen a path worth defending. Meaningless pursuits rarely face opposition. Significant ones always do. Understanding this principle changes your emotional response to difficulty. Instead of feeling discouraged when facing barriers, you can recognize them as validation. The size of the obstacles often correlates with the size of the opportunity. The greater your purpose, the greater the resistance you'll encounter. This resistance tests not just your abilities, but your conviction. Life setbacks contain the seeds of spectacular comebacks. History repeatedly demonstrates this pattern in the lives of purpose-driven individuals. The business failure becomes the foundation for entrepreneurial wisdom. The career disappointment leads to discovering a more authentic calling. The rejected manuscript becomes the motivation to develop award-winning writing skills. Your greatest setbacks can become platforms for your greatest advances. This transformation happens when you extract the lesson from every experience. Setbacks aren't meant to stop you, but to educate you. They reveal weaknesses that need strengthening. They expose assumptions that need questioning. They highlight skills that need developing. The question that turns adversity into advantage is simple but profound. What can I learn from this? The principle of persistence separates achievers from dreamers. Persistence isn't just continuing. It's continuing with purpose despite difficulty. It's maintaining your commitment to the destination while remaining flexible about the route. It's understanding that no often means not yet rather than not ever. It's recognizing that most people quit just before breakthrough. Persistence draws straight from perspective. When facing obstacles, expand your timeline. Most significant achievements take longer than expected but matter longer than anticipated. The momentary frustration fades quickly. The impact of fulfilled purpose endures for generations. Its extended viewpoint makes today's obstacles appear appropriately small against the backdrop of tomorrow's legacy. Learning from failure requires humility. The proud person repeats mistakes because they refuse to acknowledge them. The humble person converts failures into stepping stones by carefully analyzing what went wrong and adjusting accordingly. They understand that failure is an event, not an identity, something that happens, not something they are. This distinction between experiencing failure And being a failure determines whether setbacks crush or strengthen you. When your identity comes from your inherent value rather than your performance, you can view failures objectively. They become data points for improvement rather than evidence of inadequacy. This healthy detachment allows you to learn without being defined by your mistakes. Pressure produces strength when properly understood. Just as resistance training builds physical muscle, resistance to your purpose builds character muscle. The pressure of deadlines develops discipline. The pressure of criticism builds conviction. The pressure of obstacles increases resourcefulness. These qualities, discipline, conviction, resourcefulness, become invaluable assets, not just for your current purpose, but for every future endeavor. Cultivate resilience through daily practices. Physical self-care provides the energy resilience requires. Meaningful connections offer emotional support during challenges. Continuous learning supplies new solutions when old ones. Regular reflection maintains perspective when problems seem overwhelming. These practices don't eliminate obstacles, but they equip you to overcome them. Remember that your greatest limitations often exist only in your thinking. The 4-minute mile seemed impossible until Roger Bannister broke it. Then 16 runners achieved it the following year. The barrier was psychological, not physical. Similarly, your perceived limitations may be products of outdated beliefs rather than actual constraints. Question assumptions about what's possible, especially those based on past disappointments. The ultimate obstacle to purpose is fear disguised as practicality. It whispers, be realistic when it means be afraid. It suggests caution when it intends to cause retreat. Counter this deception by asking, what would I do if I knew I could not fail? And take the first step toward that action even while feeling afraid. Courage isn't the absence of fear, but action in its presence. Everyone is called to lead in some capacity. Leadership isn't reserved for those with titles or positions. It's available to anyone willing to take responsibility for creating positive change. Your purpose inevitably involves influencing others, whether you're raising children, managing projects, or transforming communities. Understanding leadership principles multiplies your impact. True leadership begins with this: seeing leadership as service, not position. Position-focused leaders ask, what can I get from others? Service-focused leaders ask, what can I give to others? This distinction changes everything. It transforms leadership from a tool for personal advancement into a vehicle for adding value. The moment you focus on serving rather than being served, your influence naturally expands. People follow leaders they trust, and trust comes from character. While skills might impress people temporarily, only character creates lasting influence. Integrity, humility, courage, and compassion form the foundation of effective leadership. These qualities can't be faked. They must be developed through consistent choices, especially when no one is watching. Your leadership reach will never exceed your character depth. Building trust requires alignment between words and actions. People watch what you do more than they listen to what you say. When your behavior contradicts your stated values, trust evaporates quickly. When your actions consistently reinforce your message, trust compounds over time. This principle explains why authentic leaders gain influence even without formal authority. Creating value for others forms the core of influential leadership. Every interaction presents an opportunity to improve someone else's life. The question that distinguishes great leaders isn't how can they help me achieve my goals, but how can I help them achieve theirs? This value creation mindset transforms relationships from transactional to transformational. Your graceless leadership contribution may come through mentoring others. By investing in people's development, you multiply your impact exponentially. The knowledge, wisdom, and perspective you've gained through experience becomes a precious resource for those following similar paths. When you help others discover and develop their purpose, your influence continues long after your direct involvement ends. Leadership requires courage to stand alone when necessary. Purpose-driven leaders often find themselves temporarily unpopular because they prioritize what's right over what's convenient. They challenge unhealthy systems, question limiting beliefs, and introduce disruptive innovations. This courage comes from conviction about your purpose being more important than your popularity. True leadership isn't measured by how many people serve you, but by how many people you serve. It's not counted in possessions acquired, but in lives improved. It's not calculated by your position on organizational charts, but by your impact on human hearts. This servant-focused approach to leadership not only fulfills your purpose, it inspires us